All right, guys, about that time. Not a Friday night, but it is a Thursday night. Playoff edition of the Gridiron Live Show. Look, I just sat down to do this, so you may think I have all the seeds and the answers and all that. I don't even have all the scores. So if you don't mind, I'm gonna cut this music down, so we'll get right to it. If you don't mind, I would like message the show, tweet the show, post the show, whatever. But I would appreciate the interaction. If you got anything you need to get off your chest tonight from the games around the state, this is where to do it. I'm glad that I can do this. Didn't think I was going to make it home in time, but got here. I believe the earlier tweets and posts that I put out on a couple of these regions, I'm going to clarify and see if we can get these right here in just a minute. But before I do that, we're always brought to you by Capital Ortho, capitalortho.com, by Sound and Communications, that's soundcomav.com, by Malone Roofing Services, ecmalone.com, by Country Pleasing Sausage and Country Meat Packers in Florence. I went through there tonight, actually. And how do you not stop by Jerry's if you go through there? Yeah, Jerry's made me late to get home. Like, that's a fact. That happened. Jerry's Catfish House. Belt's a little tighter than it typically would have been, but it's okay. We'll push through this. And also brought to you by the Rogue in Jackson. Get out there and check out my friend Luke Abney. Always tries to, I don't want to say makes me look good. I'm trying to think, Luke, what the right way to say that would be. I can only look so good. He makes me look as good as I possibly can. He does do that. But I'm slowly getting there. But I appreciate Luke and everything he does with me. Okay, I want to get straight to these. I mentioned earlier, I just sat down to get some of these scores, was listening to the end of a few games on the way in. As always, if you listen to the show here in just a minute, you will notice that that these messages will start scrolling across the screen. If you reply on X, if you comment on Facebook, or if you comment on YouTube, those would all automatically show up right here. Thomas, I'm going to have to check a few things here on Northwest Rankin and the 2 seed. I think let me get right to this part because this is the part I screwed up tonight. I was listening to one of the broadcasts. After going through the numbers and talking to a couple friends, I think in 7A Region 3, what we're going to get, I think you'll get Oak Grove 1. I think you're going to get Petal 2. And then I think you're going to get Brandon 3, Northwest Rankin 4. I'm not official on this. And I haven't sat down pen to paper. I've just kind of walked through it with a couple friends. I think that's what you're going to get. You get Oak Grove number 1 because they only have one loss. And then you have a 3-way tiebreaker for that second spot between Northwest Rankin, Brandon, and Petal. And I don't believe you go straight to point differential there. You would if they were 1, 2, 3, but at 2, 3, 4, then you start doing some head-to-head stuff and go to who played Oak Grove, what they do, those type of things. I think that's how this is going to play out. I think. And I posted this on X. I think the 4 are going to be, and old man brain here, Oak Grove, Petal, Brandon, Northwest Rankin, I think. Could be wrong, though. But I want to go through some of these scores tonight, and maybe we might have some of the playoffs for you later on in the show. We're not going to do this all night, though, because this is a Thursday night show. Like I mentioned, I've already stopped by not Country Fisherman. Did I say Country Fisherman earlier? I hope I didn't. Although if you're familiar with that place is pretty awesome. Jerry's is a pretty awesome place, but it's not the best place to go if you're planning on doing what I'm doing right now. Like 2 hours ago, I was super fit, and then that happened, and now I'm not feeling as good as I was earlier. That's a problem, but we'll figure this out. Okay, if I get any of this wrong, you guys shoot me some messages. I'm gonna go ahead and start going through some of these as we look at the scores that are coming across from X to Facebook to whatever. First, Caleb, yeah, I like the messages also that start with that I'm right. I'm a big fan of those, if you don't mind. Usually, when I put out power rankings, look, I do appreciate the interaction from everybody on those power rankings. And every time I see them, I so badly want to say, everybody raise your hand if you've seen almost every one of these teams play in person. And that would usually be only me. And because I take great pride in getting out to as many as I can. It's like this week out of the 25 teams, I've seen 17 of them play in person. Usually people see 3, 4, 5 of them, and then kind of know where the rankings should go off of that. But that is what it is. I do appreciate everybody interacting on Facebook, on Instagram, and all that. I really do. I mean that sincerely. But that's the reason we put those out. Is it's good for high school sports. It's good conversation. All of those things. Now, let's get to some of these messages that are coming in here. Okay. Yeah, Caleb, that's right. If they have the same record, Petal is 2 because of the win over Oak Grove. I believe that's what's going to happen here. You'll have a 3-way tie for second, but to break that, you don't do point differential off the bat. You go to the number 1. And then after that separates, and this is across all regions across the state, not just region 3 and 7A. But then after you go through that, then you do it again. And then you get to point differential whenever you need to. Usually if it's 1, 2, 3, it doesn't come into play because 1, 2, 3, each 1 beat 2, 2 beat 3, 3 beat 1, that whole deal. That's not what we have in this situation. Thomas, power rankings are solid. Yeah, I appreciate that, man. Those things are hard to do. And usually my replies on Facebook, man, it's so hard to reply without feeling like you're putting a team down. Somebody like Heidelberg, I saw them for a 2A school. They're unbelievable. Like, I mean that sincerely, unbelievable. It's hard to compare them to 7A schools that play that kind of schedule. And that's not a knock on them. What they're doing is incredible. It's just very difficult to mix and match those type of levels of competition. This from Thomas. Yeah, you're never going to make the fan base happy. I am missing some of these messages. These suckers came across quick, didn't they? Yeah, you can't make everybody happy. Northwest Rankin beat Petal. So I think, yeah, that's from earlier from Scooter. Power rankings are solid. I thought if Northwest Rankin beat Petal by 5 or more, they get the second. That's only if you're doing point differential. I don't think you had to go to point differential in that. I think it went head to head. You pull Oak Grove out. Well, Oak Grove has 1 loss. Then the next 3 you go head to head. Well, then that's Petal beat Oak Grove against the common opponent. So then that jumps them. Then you do it again. Then Brandon between those 2 beat Northwest Rankin. I think that's how that's going to go. I think it'll be Brandon 3, Northwest Rankin 4, I believe. But we'll see. Laurel gets out a 7-3 win over South Jones. It's a big win for Ryan Ernest and Laurel. And that's all our comments for now. Now, let me get to, and I have some more that are already come across there. Kobe, could they move to 3? PRC big win tonight over Picayune. We have to get to that here in a second, too. Now, back to X, so I can actually get to some of these scores if I'm going to do a scoreboard show for you guys tonight. And like I said, I'm hurting from the catfish, a little dehydrated, but I'm going to push through this thing. I'm going to gut this out. That was a play on words. Brandon Shields was at Terry tonight. Hattiesburg picked up a big win. They are Region 3 6A champs. Let's see here. Some of these others. I saw Ocean Springs picks up a big one. So I believe what we're going to get in on the coast is you have Gulfport, Ocean Springs, D'Iberville, and then gosh, I'm not even looking at it in front of me right now. That's over here on this computer. And then after that, we would get I have to see who Biloxi won tonight. I think that would be Biloxi, but I'll have to see that score. Gulf Coast. Hey, appreciate that, Matt. Here we go. When you're doing this stuff live, I don't have time to do this, and you guys don't want to see me do math. That's why you need to be following guys like Matt Stats here. Gulfport, Brandon, Ocean Springs versus Petal, D'Iberville versus Northwest Rankin, and Is that right, Matt? So that would have Brandon as the 4. Are you positive about that? I haven't seen anything official come out because that's what I had earlier. And I'm wondering if I was wrong on that. If we if it's a situation to where this is the logic behind it. Oak Grove is the only one loss team. You have 3 people tied for second place. I don't believe that goes straight to point differential. I think you go back to the record versus number 1 seed, and then that pulls Pedal out because they beat Oak Grove, puts them in the 2. And then you have a 3 and 4 there between Brandon and Northwest Rankin. I believe again you'd go who beat who, and Brandon beat Northwest Rankin. That's what I'm thinking right now. Okay, real good. Hey, that could be it. Let's see. And if that's the case, if it's Oak Grove, Northwest Rankin, Pedal, Brandon, then Northwest Rankin gets a home day, a home game next Friday night. But I'll make a call here in a minute. What I would do, I'd hop off here, I'd make a phone call, get the official ones, just to be sure. But I'm going to go with that for now. But let me get to a few of these other scores around the state. Okay, Germantown was a big winner tonight. Pascagoula, big winner tonight, 42-3. Pascagoula, and that was at the half. I don't even have that final, but that was big from Pascagoula. They could do something in the playoffs. Their schedule was hard. Like Lewis played a very difficult non-region schedule in preparation for this season. Oxford beat Starkville 27-21. Knox Kiffin throws 4 touchdown passes. Big night for him. I've had a chance to see him play a couple of times now. Look, talented 10th grade kid. And like any of these 10th graders, you can tell the coordination's still coming. I mean, they're skinny usually. They're not developed yet. They're just, they're 15, 16-year-old kids. But you can see the ability with that kid. And one thing I do like his mindset, not intimidated, handles himself like a senior would out there. I was impressed the 2 times I saw him play. I'm scrolling through a few of these. Big junior college day tomorrow, by the way. Colin, they won the South. Then you have Colin, Gulf Coast in the South, East Mississippi, and Northwest up in the North. So big day tomorrow around the MACCC with playoffs. Not tomorrow, but Saturday rather. This feels like a Friday night doing the scoreboard show. Grenada big tonight. Lake Cormorant big tonight. Again, I don't want to sit here. I'm not going to go through every score with you, but I'm going to try and go through the ones that I think were going to make a difference in terms of the seeding. The only score that I saw tonight that was just a huge upset, I guess I shouldn't say upset, it's going to catch most people off guard, was PRC beating Picayune. And if you've been watching Picayune here the last month, their games have been close. And what does that mean? It just means it's Picayune. They beat the mess out of everybody. And then this year, late, some of these games have been closer than you would expect. And tonight, they go down against Pearl River Central. Corinth over Amory later tonight. That was bad. I know it was already kind of out of hand at the half. I mentioned Madison Central earlier. They get a huge win tonight over Clinton. I tell you what I'm going to do, guys. I have all of these scores, but some of these standings, doing the dual monitor thing here, actually the triple monitor thing here, some of these regions were so jacked up coming into tonight. I'm going to have to do pencil to paper here to get these in order. This from Ben, Mad Central to Horn Lake. Sorry, just getting home. If y'all do, that is a trip. Horn Lake cracked into the top 25 of our power rankings this week. They kept South Panola out because Horn Lake beat South Panola earlier this year. Oak Grove and Northwest Rankin have one district loss apiece. Hold on, I'm gonna go back through some of this, looking at the standings. I believe going into tonight, Northwest Rankin already had two losses. Northwest Rankin lost to Brandon, and they also lost to Oak Grove. So they already had their two. The only one that's going to have the one loss is Oak Grove. Petal, Northwest Rankin, and Brandon all have two. But I'm still not 100% confident because I've heard that different. I think I've heard that actually three different ways, and I haven't sat down just to go through it myself. Miko, awful officiating again, Brooks. Let me tell you something. Northwest Rankin's at Petal tonight. Petal fans, I'm not ripping on you. I'm not making this Petal specific, but I will tell you all this, okay? And I don't like getting on officials. If you follow me at all, you know I don't like doing that. If you want to complain about officials, become an official. Lord knows we need them. But I will say this about high school football and football, basketball, baseball, it's anything. The further you're traveling from home, you better be mentally prepared to play those games. And that's just, look, that's the nature of it. That's just the nature of it. And that's going usually both ways. And yeah, there's some places that over the last 15 years I go to, and if somebody said, okay, what is the hardest place to go play? Because you know you're not getting any help. That yeah, there's a couple. And there's usually a lot of respect, for the home program. Um, but that's high school. It's the way it goes. The further away from the house, you can go ahead and bank it. It's going to be a difficult time. PRC snapped the 28 straight region wins of Picayune. Yeah, I knew that. Matt, you do a great job down there with the Gulf Coast high school football stuff too, man. I know you've been doing it. I don't know how long you've been doing it. A long time. I don't think you were doing it before I started this, but God, you had to be close, man. Like this is my 16th season of covering high school sports in Mississippi. I love it. And I'm about to start adding some more stuff that I'm doing. I'm really excited about, but been 16 years. That's crazy. Yeah, Scooter, Northwest Rankin, Petal, and Brandon. Yeah, they all have two losses. 2000. That's what I thought. I knew it was close because my first year doing this was 10. I knew it was right around the about the same time. All right, guys, look. I could sit here and talk on this. If you guys have questions or you just want to shoot the breeze, I'm happy to do that. But I need to sit down and do pencil to paper just because I know that's what's happening at the MHSA today. Or tonight. I know Brandon's working on these. It will be later tonight. And honestly, it's going to be too late tonight to hop on here and do any kind of a show with it. It's going to be after 11 o'clock would be my guess. So with that being the case, I think I need to sit down here and try to go through some of these myself. See, here's another one earlier. I think it's going to be Pedal 2. I think. I mean, I could be wrong, and wouldn't be my first time to be wrong. But we'll see. As soon as I have them, they'll be online though, and I'll try to get these verified officially. Not something that I just put out. Okay, it with some contacts at the MHSAA to make sure that we get this right. But look, that's a big night of football tonight. More playoffs tomorrow night. The MAIS is in playoff mode. And I know I've had several texts and messages about the MAIS power ranking stuff. I'm glad I'm not doing a radio show, at least yet, because I saw all of that, but I'm not one to pile on all that. I'm not one to do that. Yeah, the power ranking points and the way that turned out was not optimal, but is what it is. You make corrections, try to fix it for next year. I know they had some issues going into this year, just trying to make things work. It's lots of square pegs and round holes with the four big schools in the MAIS and trying to figure that whole deal out. And I can tell you it's not easy. It's very complicated. So they'll keep hammering at that until they get it right. But yeah, the playoffs they look different from what I was expecting. But look, if you're playing, you got a chance. So no excuses at this point. All right. I'm seeing Shields. Shit, Brandon, what are you doing, man? He's sitting there. He's snapping a picture of the MHSAA carpet logo when he goes in the building. What's my guy Brandon doing there? That's 11 minutes ago, bracket time. Brandon, I need brackets now, though, man. I don't need bracket time later. If this is not midnight, what I tell you what I will do. As soon as I see brackets, I'll hop back on here. It'll be something that's live, but maybe like 5 minutes to give just a quick rundown of maybe some early predictions, that kind of stuff. If it's after midnight, I'm not going to do that. But that way, those of you that go to bed, when you wake up, it'll be something short and sweet. You can get an idea of what's going on. I can do that for you guys. Warren Central 34-14 over Kent. Hey, Brandon, y'all are playing good at the right time, man. All of these classes, for the most part, there's two classes that's going to be difficult. And I say difficult, I mean, Miko, I'm not sure about that home playoff game, man. I'm going to have to double check that. I'm not sure they're the two. I need to check that to be sure. Not saying they're not, but I think there's a chance they're not. You might want to stay awake though. But if it's after midnight, I won't. If it's before, I'll go ahead and I'll go ahead and do something live, but I'm just doing it just so it'll fill up Facebook and Twitter, X, and the YouTube channel. So you guys have something you check out quick in the morning while you're getting ready for school or getting ready for work. But Miko, I'm going to check that. But all of the classes, 5A, good luck with West Point. I've seen them. 2A, good luck with Heidelberg. I saw those guys. I don't see how anybody's going to knock them off. But hey, it's high school football. You never know. I'd be surprised. Those are going to be very difficult pulls. West Point in 5A and Heidelberg in 2A. But outside of that, I think we'll have as an exciting playoffs as we've ever had. 7A especially, 6A especially. I think those could be a lot of fun. But Brookhaven Laurel, South Jones Summerall, appreciate that, Caleb. I'm going to hop off here, get to work on some of these brackets, make a couple calls, and I'll knock out another one of these later on the night, okay? All right. Y'all have a good night. I will do one tomorrow night for sure after the games tomorrow night to go a little more in depth, the matchups, playoffs, that sort of thing. And then, of course, who wins the games tomorrow night. Always appreciate you guys and our sponsors, Capital Ortho, capitalortho.com, Sound and Communications at soundcomav.com, Country Pleasing Sausage, Country Meat Packers in Florence. If you go by there, just know that that store that's built, if you haven't been by there, you should. Like I went through there again today. Like the store Henry built there is pretty awesome. The butcher shop is pretty awesome. Malone Roofing Services and the Rogue in Jackson. Appreciate them being part of the show. Appreciate you guys being part of the show. And I'll talk to you guys soon. Okay. You have a good night. God bless. Talk to you later.